Welcome back to CG Live. You're going to want to hang out because I'll be talking to Rachel Bredow, our next generation. You hear all the great things and that God is doing in our next generation ministry. But a couple other things God is up to. I just want to give you a heads up on this Sunday, February 16th, 3 p.m. is our hymn festival, A God of Grace and Glory. And you're not going to want to miss it. It's a huge choir, some just great hymns, and so a lot of great worship. So join us for that. That's going to be at the Gilbert campus in the worship center, 3 p.m. And then the following week, you're invited to Night of Hope. And so for our Give Simply for this quarter, it's awareness and action towards the issue of human trafficking. And Night of Hope is brought to us by Not in Our City, an organization in Arizona, in our community that combats human trafficking. And so Night of Hope, it's a free night. There's worship, there's some keynote speakers, not only awareness, but ways you can take action where we can be God's hands and feet when it comes to the area of human trafficking. And so for both of those, check the description for more information, ways to register, especially for free tickets for Night of Hope. And that's February 23rd, 5 p.m. at Grace Communities Church. Pray to see you there. Hello, friends. Welcome to CG Live here with Rachel Bredow, our Next Gen Director. And fun fact for all of you, we're Midwesterners.
Yes, we are.
And one of my born and raised, one of my favorite parts of this season is all the snowbirds that come in and all the Midwesterners that come. And so, Rachel, I got a question for you.
Okay.
What's maybe one or two of your favorite Midwestern phrases?
Sure. So my grandma, so she was Michigan. I grew up in Iowa, went to college in Nebraska, other grandparents in Illinois, so I have a good scope of...
And you lived in Wisconsin.
I lived in Wisconsin.
You really covered all your bases almost.
I had relatives in Minnesota.
Oh, dang.
But this is a very Iowa-specific thing, actually very central Iowa, Des Moines thing, but an outhouse or a porta potty.
Porta potty?
Kaibo.
What?
Yeah.
Kaibo.
If I'm driving down the road and I see a porta potty, I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of Kaibos.
I have never heard...
K-Y-B-O.
Well, now I know.
Yeah.
Now if I hear it, now I'll know.
But also like the back 40, those kind of terms involving a farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, know a lot of those. How about you?
So, born in Nebraska, but grew up mostly in Minnesota. And my mom's side is like northern-ish Minnesota, so really thick accents. But we were talking about something like the oofta.
Yeah.
Oofta was one. My grandma was 100% Norwegian, so oofta was pretty popular. Or yeah, sure, you betcha.
Yep.
Or don't you know?
Don't you know?
Don't you know?
In Wisconsin, it was a lot of beg for like a bag.
Oh, yeah.
And the bubbler thing is real.
I know AJ does. I'm like, what are you talking about?
When we lived in Wisconsin, they're like, oh, get a drink at the bubbler. I was like, what? Yeah. So like, let's talk about like a soda.
I'm going to get a drink at the bubbler after the kebab. No, what is it? Kaibo.
Or kebab.
Or kebab.
Although, you know what they do say about like central Midwest, Iowa, Illinois, is that we have the perfect like voice inflection, and because it lacks zero accent. So like newscasters and things want to be, that's where you're from.
Yeah.
If you're on the news, because you don't have an accent. Now, if you go north.
Yeah, it gets a little, one of the things, once we had kids, my aunts would be like, oh, for cute. For cute. Looking at your kids. Anyways, it was so funny.
That. Yeah.
And what back to business. There's a lot of changes, kind of bittersweet, but also exciting things going on in Next Gen. Do you want to give
I'll give a Next Gen update for sure. I guess some things coming up as far as program wise. We have Vacation Bible School over spring break for East Mesa. So we're excited. It's like March 10th through the 13th. We're going to do a 4-day one, but we host VBS outside at East Mesa.
Yeah.
And so we were like, you know what?
In the summer, it's
hot. Like, let's try this over spring break when the weather's a little nicer, so it doesn't matter if we're outside.
Yeah.
And I think it might hit a felt need of people, like, because a lot of the people have 2 weeks of spring break.
Right.
So it's like, let's have them do some activities. And like for my kids who are older, I'm like, yes, they need to be doing something during spring break since we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'm getting them volunteering.
And it's true. Like as a parent, that second week, I'm like, what are we going to do with the
right, with the kids. And,
yeah. So I'm sure parents will like love it.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is like it's at Cadence Community Center.
Right.
So where East Mesa meets at a school in the community, and now we get to go host VBS at their community center. And a lot of times it's families from the community.
Yeah.
And so it is a unique, incredible outreach for Cadence.
And Christ Greenfield's really known there. We do Palm Sunday at the park there, or the Veterans Worship Service we do there. So people know us and are familiar with the name. So
do you guys need volunteers or anything?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we need volunteers, crew leaders. We're maxing it at like 75 kids. So crew leaders, station leaders, helpers, all the stuff we need.
Yeah. So if you want to help or you want your older kids to help, sign them.
We're redoing a VBS that we already did at Gilbert, but we didn't do at East Mesa. So we're doing one from 2 years ago, Stellar. But we are getting new shirts. So if you already have a Stellar shirt, get another one. Add to your collection.
Boom. Who doesn't love a free shirt?
I know.
Who doesn't love a free shirt?
So then we have our regular VBS at Gilbert too this summer, and that theme is True North. So it's like Alaskan type, Northern Lights, woodsy,
So I get to like meet a lot of mission organizations, and what I find really striking, for example, there's this organization. Actually, I've met with two of them. They're two different mission organizations in India, and their primary means of outreach is through Bible camps, Vacation Bible School. There's something about, faith like a child in these children learning these Bible stories, and then they go home and they talk about Jesus. And so, so I find it is like a wonderful way to not only love and care for kids, but oftentimes God uses them, from the lips of babes to bring Jesus into the household.
It's why our preschool is so powerful. Too, right?
Yeah, it is one of our greatest outreach tools. It's like so incredible. Actually, I just met a mom who her son goes to our preschool, and they were disconnected from church, but he was coming home singing the songs about Jesus and talking about the stories. And then he said he wanted to go to church. This little guy.
I love that.
And now like the mom's coming, and like, anyways, it was just like an incredible story. What a testimony, like what God can do through something like preschool and I'm sure VBS and stuff. Yeah.
Some other things that are coming up in our ministry is this summer, it's the 3 years again to go to the youth gathering. But now, it used to be called NYG National Youth Gathering, but now you take the N off. It's just youth gathering because it's not just national anymore, it's international. Because there's so many people from different countries that come too, and so they don't want to just limit it to like talking about United States.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be a hard mental shift for me.
I know.
It's been NYG.
I still call it NYG. I'm not calling it YG. That seems kind of, I don't know, weird. But so we're taking, I think, 29 people. Wow. So it's going to be so fun. Yeah.
So right before we started this, we were talking about we both had the opportunity to go as like high schoolers, because the National Youth Gathering actually holds a pretty, like, I don't know, close place in my heart because it was so fun and it was so formative.
Yes.
There's something about being in high school, and I went to New Orleans and then Orlando, but being in like the Superdome with
all those kids,
tens of thousands other kids my age who believe what I'm like. The impact was like pretty powerful.
They're Lutheran too, so they we all have the same understanding, like-mindedness, and it's kind of a mountaintop experience. And a lot of times in Lutheran churches we don't talk about that a lot, but when you're younger, that's kind of that's remember those things. I went to San Antonio when I was a freshman, and because of how it fell, then I was able to go to Atlanta when I was a senior. But I don't know if you had. I think maybe we talked about this, but Ryan and I met each other when we were freshmen in high school, but didn't realize it until we met in college.
You made that connection?
Yeah. So they needed like people to help with the mass events.
Yeah.
And so we were like both like bucket carriers at the same time. We met in the same room and stuff. And when we met each other in college, we were like, figured out we both did this. So another reason to go is you can meet your future spouse.
You never know.
But I was actually able to meet my roommate in college before I went to college. Like we were just kind of like pen pals with each other, and then we met at the youth gathering in Atlanta. So that was cool to be able to meet before we got there. So that was another.
Yeah, I guess for like like my kids aren't in high school yet, but like what can I do to like help or support or pray, because I just want, like our youth to have the same impactful experience.
For sure. Yeah. I would say a prayer obviously is the first thing. Just pray that for safe travels, that it goes, well, but also that the Holy Spirit just like plants this seed in them that they want to be missionaries and are just on fire for Jesus, and maybe even to get into church work. Like it's a great thing to see just the connections you can make and stuff. I feel like it's a college reunion when I go to the youth gatherings now that I've gone. Like it was so fun to see everybody. Where the youth are helping with our gala coming up, and so some of the funds that are raised at the gala will go toward us. So supporting the gala is a great way. Also, like in a couple months, I forget exactly which date it is, we're going to have like an envelope wall in the courtyard at both campuses where they have a dollar amount on it, and you can like support us by putting some like that dollar amount, putting the money in there and just supporting us to go. Cause it's expensive.
It is. Yeah.
The flights down there, all this stuff, it's expensive, but it's so cool. It's so worth it. And being in New Orleans, like we're going to do a riverboat cruise. Also, there's a lot of kids who want to do the World War II museum.
Oh.
So we're going to probably do that.
Yeah, I know it is like quite pricey, but it is like worth it. Like from my own experience, like worth it. Because you're right. The reason why I'm like a pastor today are some of those like monumental experiences actually in high school where like these little like moments where faith became more my own. So like National Youth Gathering, like short-term mission trips, like camp, those types of things. Like, man, you don't realize how formative they are until like you look back. You're like, oh man.
Yeah.
All the stuff in between is really, really important. But those are like almost like catalysts.
Turning points.
Yeah.
See faith in action too. Yeah. Because we get to do a little servant project too when we're down there for the youth gathering. So that's always fun to do. But yeah, so other updates that are happening. So Maddie and I, have been the Next Gen team for like 3 years now. And
you can't miss them in the office.
No, I know.
When you guys are together.
There's a lot of laughter.
There's a lot
of laughter and silliness. A lot of fart machine.
Yes, I've been on the receiving end of that hidden in my office.
We've had it like go off. Like sometimes kids would come into our office and just like press the button obnoxiously, but then there's like a serious meeting happening across the hall, and we're like, we shouldn't do that. But Maddie is actually going back to school currently. She's student teaching right now.
Yeah.
But to be a teacher, and so next year she's going to be teaching in our school. So
which is very exciting.
It's so exciting.
I think she's going to be an incredible addition to the school and to the students.
Yeah.
But it like comes at a cost.
Yeah, I know. It's sad because we all love Maddie. She's so relational, and we just she's just so fun to be around. But so now we're looking to find someone to replace her, or I mean you can't replace Maddie, but
irreplaceable.
Just for that role. But what I'm excited about is so Maddie had 2 jobs. Like she was part-time youth, part-time. Campus director at East Mesa. So now we're just going to look for full-time youth. And so being able to have that intentionality and focus toward that age group is going to be really exciting. And I'm looking forward to that. So we're in the interview process right now. We have 2 people that we're doing a second interview with coming up here in a couple weeks. There was like 30 different people, and we've narrowed it down. But also, we're still interested in taking names. If people are interested or they know someone, submit their name to us. Yeah. You can email me, email the front office, and we can pursue that. Definitely looking for the right fit and the right person for that. So it's a fun process. Yeah. But it's also a little daunting. Again.
It is daunting. Yeah. But it is a very important position because, this is like, as the title explain, like next generation.
Yeah.
What an opportunity to raise up the next leaders in the church, in our community, and their workplaces. And so so that's why part of it's daunting. This is a big
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Oh, but also knowing we're gonna take our time and we're gonna find find the right person and the right fit for Christ Greenfield. So it'll be good. It's exciting to see what the future holds. And I know we have talked about we had to do different lane reports about what our visions are for our certain area and department. And so I was able to do one for Next Gen, and we really want to try to redo that upper room above the classrooms in the gym. I've just titled it upper room. I feel like it's going to stick, but I feel like that's a good, right?
It's very biblical.
Yeah. The upper room. What would it cost to furnish that, fix it up to make it so it's, you can occupy it, I guess. But, and that could be our space, giving the youth a space that's just for them.
Yeah.
That'll be so fun to have that. And we can have like a little stage on there for worship and couches and a little kitchenette. And so, yeah. A lot of exciting things.
There's a lot going on.
I know. There always is.
Gen. There always is.
There always is.
Yeah, I guess the big takeaway is for us all is just to really be in prayer for the Next Gen ministry, for the kids, especially the kids that are going to be coming to like VBS at East Mesa, and then our own in the summer or at Gilbert campus. Be in prayer for the youth gathering and those going on it, and all the kids that are going, and prayer for Maddie as she has this new exciting opportunity in front of her, and then praying for whoever God has next for us. So just lots of prayer.
Yeah. And I would say too, we just had our confirmation retreat this past weekend.
Yeah.
And we had 16 kids go up. And it was just so great to see them be able to unplug, relax, just be kids. I mean, they're building forts up in the woods and just like playing games, like just socializing without phones.
Yeah. Well, that's because Camp Aloha, there's like no reception.
There's no reception.
So,
there's a lot there. Yeah.
Well, maybe a little spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they kind of have to, but they, like, one of the girls just said, I don't want to come back because it was so nice to like not have such a hectic, busy schedule. And so just being able to provide opportunities for kids to be kids, but also to Sabbath, right? And just get away from the pressures that they feel, whether they're real or not, they feel them. Whether it's pressure to keep up with like their feed on their social media and post and their image, or just pressure performing at different activities that they're part of, or maybe they feel like they have pressure from their parents, or just whatever. So it's such a blessing to be able to work with kids and help them experience these things. And a lot of times it's like the first time they've gone away, because confirmation, we do it a little bit younger.
Yeah.
They haven't ever slept away from their parents or without a family member, and a lot of times the parents are kind of nervous, but it usually goes like so well.
Yeah.
And they're so exhausted by the second night that it doesn't even matter. The first night's a little rough, but the second night they're good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so grateful they got that experience.
Yeah.
Well, Rachel, thank you for being with me today and kind of walking us through what God's up to in the Next Gen. And thank you guys for joining us in this conversation. Have a great day.